Should I or shouldn't I? Well, a lot of mistakes have been made after those words. Let's talk about a few of the potentially biggest ones. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. There are a lot of things you can do in Disney World, from swimming with sharks to taking surfing lessons to petting a rhino and going behind the scenes to see how the sausage is made. Literally, sometimes. And these can be sliding doors moments, potential disasters, but also potentially life-changing. So let's discuss a few of these and why or why not you'd want to do them. Item number 1 on our list today is something that I totally see both arguments for because the FOMO struggle is real. And this is going to the parks on the opening day of a brand new ride or attraction. So there are so many exhilarating parts about being one of the first people to experience a brand new ride on its opening day, but it's not all that easy. So if this is something you're wanting to do, you're going to have to plan ahead and potentially dedicate a day to success. So give this one the green light if you're someone who's local and maybe has an annual pass to the Disney World parks. Then I can totally see why you'd want to jump headfirst day one into the latest and greatest Disney World experience. After all, you're not that far away, and if it doesn't work out, you can just try again tomorrow. But would it also be worth it for someone who's not local, and this would mean a huge investment of time and money to maybe accomplish? Well, if you're already planning a vacation around the time a new experience is opening up in the parks, you could definitely try to squeeze that into your itinerary. After all, a brand new ride only has a grand opening once, so you'll immediately get bragging rights from that day forth. If this is something you're going to try, just make sure you're familiar with how Disney's virtual queue system works beforehand, since that's really what Disney's been using for the past few years to regulate the lines for brand new rides. We've got an entire DFB post on our website describing the step-by-step process on how to grab a virtual queue spot on the My Disney Experience app, along with our best tips and practices on how to secure your virtual spot in line for the newest rides. But what I will say about virtual queues for now is that I like how they don't force you to wait in a physical line for 6+ hours just to experience this shiny new toy. So if you would never dream of spending forever long in a queue line for the latest Disney experience, then this could work for you, because usually the brand new rides don't have standby queue lines anyway. And if you have the money to burn, acquaint yourself with the Genie Plus individual Lightning Lane selections. If you don't get a virtual queue spot, then you can pay to ride with this option instead. Now, the other side of the going to the parks on the opening day of a ride or attraction coin is the red light. It's one thing for me to say, don't base the success of your trip around whether or not you were able to get on Disney's brand new ride. But it may be hard to convince yourself when you spend a good chunk of your hard-earned cash to get her done, especially when it doesn't pan out, because there are a lot of factors that could prevent you from getting on the brand new ride. First, let's talk about those virtual queues again. Virtual queue spots get snatched up fast. They'll drop 2 times during the day, 7 a.m. and 1 p.m., but as soon as they drop, they're gone very quickly, sometimes within seconds, especially on opening day. So if you were to accidentally sleep through your early morning alarm or lose track of time even by 30 seconds, you will miss your window of opportunity to grab these passes, and that can be really frustrating. You can always try to purchase individual Lightning Lane entrances for those new rides, but remember, Lightning Lanes for opening day rides will be at their highest prices. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind maxed out at $17 per person per ride, meaning a family of 4 to ride the ride once costs $68. Not to mention, these Lightning Lane reservations also tend to book up really fast too, so even if you're cool with dropping the cash, you might not even get the chance to do so. Now, let's talk about the expectations versus realities of a new ride as well. Your expectations are flawless, state-of-the-art tech that's going to really knock your socks off, but let's all recall the first few weeks of the Rise of the Resistance opening. How many tears were shed due to breakdowns? Many. Now, you may experience technical bugs or mishaps during a ride's opening day because it's just a baby and they're still trying to figure everything out. And those new rides, they can go down for a few hours or entire days. So if you're basing your entire trip and all your happiness around getting on one ride on its opening day, don't, because you may very well get burned. Instead of planning your Disney World vacation around a new ride, plan your vacation when it's most convenient for you. Who knows? Hopefully by the time your vacation does roll around, it'll be a little easier to get on the new ride with 0 setbacks. But if Rise of the Resistance taught us anything, nothing is a guarantee. And since we're already in a galaxy far, far away, maybe you should build a lightsaber. Hidden inside Disney's Hollywood studios, back in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, is an immersive experience that allows you to hand build your very own authentic lightsaber. Savi's Workshop is a 20 to 30 minute customization experience where you'll be able to design a lightsaber by using saber pieces, kyber crystals, and scrap metal, otherwise known as more customization options at an extra cost. But do or do not you shall. After all, there is no try. Did I sound like Yoda? Okay, great. Well, let's see. You might greenlight this one if you're the world's biggest Star Wars fan, and maybe you are. In that case, I've made this hypothetical situation all the more real for you. Savi's Workshop isn't just a place where you go up to the counter, ask for a lightsaber, pay up, and go about your day. You definitely can do that at other locations, though, which I'm going to talk about in a second, but I'm going to try not to derail my thought process here. Savi's is an experience. From the moment you arrive for your reservation time, you'll be looped into the story. This spot is hidden from the First Order by a group of gatherers, which you'll learn are designated keepers of the Force. They're dedicated to restoring balance in the galaxy. It's very official and important stuff you're getting thrown into. So, during this build, you'll not only be making a lightsaber, but you'll also be learning more about the Force and the ancient ways of the Jedi. And not to spoil anything, but when you come to the end of this customization process and you're able to light up your lightsaber for the first time, it's a whole spectacle that's going to give you chills. Is a lightsaber going to be something you're going to wind up using over and over again in your everyday life? Probably not, unless you're in a super cool Star Wars LARP that you should totally invite us to sometime. But don't think of it as a souvenir purchase. Think of it as a souvenir and an immersive show. And although this experience is super pricey, it's still a more affordable interactive Star Wars experience than, say, the $5,000 Galactic Star Cruiser right next door. But let's talk about your red light on this experience. Here we are back to play the devil's advocate. There are two really crucial things you need to know before you book Savi's Workshop. One, it's still really expensive. And two, reservations can be hard to get. For one person to take part in the Savi's Workshop lightsaber building experience is going to cost you $219.99, and that's a lot of money for a 20 to 30 minute show. If you're just looking for a lightsaber for the kids to whack each other around with, and you don't really need it to be some sort of state-of-the-art doohickey, you can also build lightsabers over at Tatooine Traders, which is outside of Galaxy's Edge and over next to Star Tours in Echo Lake. A lightsaber here is going to cost you around $30 to $45, depending on the design, which is a whole lot easier to swallow than $200 plus. And much like an advanced dining reservation, you'll need to make Savi's Workshop reservations 60 days before your Hollywood Studios day, since capacity per show is very limited, like only 14 Jedis can build sabers at a time. If you miss out on a reservation here and you're really disappointed that you didn't get to take home an authentic lightsaber straight from Batuu, you can always go with Plan B and purchase a Legacy lightsaber instead. Legacy lightsabers are modeled after the sabers wielded by characters in the Star Wars cinematic universe, like Princess Leia, Count Dooku, and Rey. Legacy lightsabers are still rather pricey, ranging from $139 to $149 plus, but they do give you the opportunity to purchase a high-quality saber at a lower price without having to worry about the advanced reservation hassle. You can find the Legacy lightsabers over at Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, which, looky there, is right next to Savi's Workshop. Now, this next item on our list I have a really strong opinion about, but I will do my best to see both sides of the equation, as difficult as that may be. And that is booking hard-to-get dining reservations during a specialty after-hours event. So, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is back in Magic Kingdom for 2022. That means when the clock strikes 7 p.m. on party nights, Magic Kingdom becomes a hub of harmlessly haunted fun, with parades, fireworks, rare meet and greets, and of course, trick-or-treating. And another big perk of the party is being able to hit up Magic Kingdom's rides and attractions, which will stay open to give party guests the chance to experience these things without the humongous wait times. But did you know you can also book reservations for Magic Kingdom's most popular restaurants during party hours too? Disney's keeping Cinderella's Royal Table and Be Our Guest restaurant open for party guests, so if you can't get a reservation during the regular Magic Kingdom hours for either of these restaurants, you have a second chance to get them during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. But is this how you should be spending precious party time? Spoiler alert, probably not. But I'll still start out with why you might want to do this nonetheless. Give this one the green light if you're having a hard time getting reservations for either Cinderella's Royal Table or Be Our Guest restaurant, and it's something you or someone in your group really wants to do. Then don't let me stop you. Dining at these restaurants should take around an hour or so to experience, meaning you should still have some time to explore the not-so-scary festivities after you finish your meal. Now, unless you fit that very special criteria that I just mentioned, and not eating at either of these restaurants is just going to ruin your whole vacation, then give this one the red light and don't do this. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is a separately ticketed event from your standard Magic Kingdom admission, and unlike having a whole day at Magic Kingdom, you're only going to have 5 hours to experience the Halloween festivities, or the Christmas festivities at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Tickets for this party can be just as expensive as regular park admission, if not more expensive the closer you get to Halloween. So if you're making reservations for one of these restaurants, it feels like you're spending money to spend more money. Not to mention, even if your dining experience only takes an hour or so, that's a lot of time when you've only got 5 hours to fully explore all of the stuff going on at the party. If you don't make a dining reservation, you're definitely not going to go hungry during Not So Scary. Many quick service locations will stay open for you to grab a quick bite, and they'll also have those specialty Halloween treats that are exclusive to the party. You can order a pain and panic hot dog from Casey's Corner made with sweet and spicy onion relish and sriracha mustard topped with spicy cheese flavored snacks. Or a Bayou Burger from Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe with jalapeno pimento cheese, crispy andouille sausage, and garlic pickles. Or even the Un Poco Loco Tots from the Friar's Nook, which are topped with chorizo sausage, green onion, and Hades cheese sauce. And that's only skimming the surface of all those offerings you can order quickly and much more affordably during the party and kind of grab and go to the next ride line. Now, figuring out your Disney food itinerary for each day is crucial, but figuring out your Disney souvenir purchases is less crucial. That said, deciding what you're going to buy and when you buy it can help you hammer out your budget and not overspend. So the next you could you, but should you, we're going to talk about is purchasing the first souvenir you fall in love with. If you see a souvenir in one of the Disney gift shops that's practically screaming for you to take it home, is it better to wait and come back for it after you've browsed a few other shops first, or should you go ahead and seal the deal? All right, so give this one the green light. If you already know, like really know, that this is the only thing you want. Maybe you heard us talking about a new certain item on the latest news video, or maybe you read about a souvenir in one of my DFB newsletters, or maybe you just happened to stumble upon another social media post announcing the hottest Disney items that'll be stocking the shelves soon. And you get to one of the Disney gift shops, and there it is, in all its glory. By all means, pick it up if this is what you know you want. It's better to go ahead and buy items that have the potential of selling like hotcakes when you see them. Otherwise, they may be all gone the next time you swing by that shop. We saw this happen not too long ago with those Scarlet Witch ears, which sold out in seconds after they first released. And new Haunted Mansion merchandise always tends to be pretty popular, especially if you add the word exclusive in front of whatever the item is. But what happens if you see something you may want to buy, but you don't know how popular it is? Will it be around later? Will it be at another gift shop? Or is this your one and only chance to make it yours? This becomes more of a judgment call. If you see an item you like and it's marked limited edition or exclusive, then it may be harder to come across later. What I like to do is roam around the store a bit, carrying the item with me, because sometimes that initial honeymoon phase of discovering an item will wear away, and I'll realize I don't really need to carry this item with me the rest of the day. But other times, carrying it with me and checking out all the other items in the store will make me realize there's a good chance I'm not going to fall in love with something more than what I've got in my hands already. And if said item is relatively useful, like if it's a Disney World mug I know I'm going to use for my coffee each morning, or some sort of kitchen utensil that I know I'll actually use often, it's easier for me to rationalize those purchases too, because at least they'll serve me long after my vacation is over. But here's when you might want to red light buying that souvenir immediately. As you're busy making your final decision, ask yourself the following questions. Am I buying this item just because it's popular or limited edition or new, or do I actually want it? If I had asked myself that question when Galaxy's Edge first opened, I probably would not have a Porg puppet right now. Another question, will this item serve me after my trip is over, or is this something I'll only get use out of during my trip? And if it's a heavier item, will I want to carry this around for the remainder of my time in the park today or in Disney Springs? Keep in mind that souvenir pickup is still unavailable, so you can't have items sent directly to your hotel the way you used to. That said, you can have it mailed to your house for an extra cost. I'm just going to drop that in here. And another question you can ask, can I find it for cheaper on the Shop Disney website, or is it only available in the parks? Last but not least, is this a purchase that's going to throw my budget out of whack? If any of these questions cause you to second guess that lovely little item you've got in your hands, then you may want to wait and shop around a bit more, especially if you're only on day one of your vacation. There are lots more stores to explore, trust me. But if you make the wrong choice on this one, remember this. If you purchase something, you can always bring it back to literally any store in Disney World that Disney owns. So even if you buy something in the Magic Kingdom Emporium and you decide you don't want it the next day, you can bring it back to the gift shop in your hotel and they can refund it for you, no problems. Really, it's true. All right, the next questionable choice that we're going to talk about is booking a club level room. Oh wait, number one rule about club level, we don't talk about club level? Just kidding. I'm going to break that rule immediately. Seriously, how many of you know that reference? Just drop a hands up in the comments for me. Many of Disney World's deluxe resorts and one of its moderate resorts, which I'll reveal in just a second, just want to keep you on your toes a bit longer, have the option to not just book a standard room or a deluxe room or a suite, but a club level room. So why are these rooms so hoity-toity, and should you really be splurging for whatever offerings they're out there promising upon your arrival? Fear not, that is what we're here for. Let's talk about the green light. Club level rooms are called club for a reason. They give you access to more exclusive sides of the Disney hotels. So in order to show you these exclusive sides, I'm going to have to give you a sneak peek into what Disney calls the club level lounges, which yes, are only open to club room guests, or concierge room guests, as they're sometimes called. So club lounges are cozy escapes that'll serve you complimentary coffee and breakfast and evening snacks and drinks and desserts, and will give you access to special concierge services, which is where a cast member will help you plan your time in the parks to be as smooth sailing as possible. So they're going to give you an extra hand when it comes to making advanced dining reservations or adding any fun little extras, like behind the scenes tours and private photo sessions. Now, even though club level rooms are more of a deluxe resort thing, there's still one moderate resort in the bunch that decided the deluxe resorts shouldn't have all the fun, and that's Gran Destino Tower in Disney's Coronado Springs moderate resort area. That's right. Though Gran Destino looks like it belongs in the Mean Girls squad that is the Disney Deluxe Resorts, it's still a moderate resort, meaning you can get club level access and concierge services for a more affordable price range here. And by more affordable, I'm talking around $580 per night for standard club level room in Gran Destino Tower, so not necessarily like a steal or anything, but it could still be a nice stay for a special occasion without having to pay hundreds and hundreds more per night. All right, so here's the red light. You probably already know where I'm going with this, so say it with me. Club level is expensive. And you know they're expensive because I just got done saying the most affordable ones are at Gran Destino Tower for almost $600 per night. And those won't even get you to extended evening hours for the parks, since Gran Destino Tower is still a moderate resort. Now, in short, club level rooms may make you feel like you're getting all the complimentary food at their exclusive lounges, but when you really consider how much extra you're paying, is it all that complimentary? Instead of paying for a whole lot extra on an exclusive lounge experience, you could focus that money on reserving a table at a nice restaurant that you actually want to eat at, like Ohana at Polynesian Village Resort, or Citrico's at Grand Floridian, Toledo, Tapa's Steak and Seafood at Gran Destino, or you could even hit up a nice and quiet lounge area that's open for everyone, yet still feels pretty low-key, like you'll find over at Territory Lounge at Wilderness Lodge, or even Cruise Cup at Yacht Club. You got a lot more options to consider when it comes to fancy and lounge level dining that we'd love to help you out with. That's why we make those digital guides featuring all of the restaurants on Disney World property available for you on the DFB store website. We share because we care. So think about if that free food is actually free and how much you want to spend on food in the parks versus what you're going to get in those lounges. Okay, next let's talk about exactly when you should go on that Disney World vacation, because some months will treat you a lot better than other months. So should you wait to plan your vacation around Disney's non-peak seasons or value seasons, or basically those times when the crowds are lowest? Well, you got 12 months out of the year to choose when you're going to plan your dream Disney World vacation. So which one is it going to be? I've talked about Disney's peak seasons before on the channel, but just as a refresher, you're going to see the highest crowd levels during the times when kids have extended time off of school, like spring break, Christmas break, and summer vacation, or when businesses give their employees those 3-day vacations for certain holidays like Labor Day and Memorial Day. Disney's slower seasons start to happen when school is back in session, starting in August and extending throughout September, and during the first months of the year, which we were blindsided by this year, but more on that later. But as the title of this video suggests, should you really base your vacation around those slower seasons? Well, for the green light of this one, let's address the obvious statement first. Non-peak seasons equal lower crowd levels, and lower crowd levels equal shorter wait times, easier dining reservations, and fewer people getting all up in your personal bubble when you're just trying to exist. But because there are fewer people in the parks, Disney also drops the prices for hotels and park tickets as an incentive to bring more people back in. Plane tickets also start to see a drop around those non-peak seasons, because it's not just Disney who's feeling that drop in consumers, it's all travel destinations. And if you want to save money on a Disney vacation and you have the ability to plan a trip whenever is convenient for you, then traveling during these off-season times can save your wallet and your personal space. So you're asking, AJ, why wouldn't I travel during those times? Well, here's the red light of this particular dilemma. Saving money sounds great, and being able to stand in multiple lines without taking up the majority of your park days also sounds glorious. But not everyone's going to be able to travel during those non-peak travel times. I mean, there's a reason the parks aren't as crowded during these seasons. People are busy bees, and they've got to get back to the working grind to pay for even more vacations in the future. Not to mention those quintessential quiet times we've usually relied on in the past for sweet crowd relief really haven't been as prominent lately. Just this past winter, we witnessed a major influx of revenge travelers, which is what we call travelers who've had vacations canceled or postponed during the 2020 closures, and they're now coming out of the woodwork to make up for lost time. Most of us are revenge travelers, let's be honest. And as we creep into the back-to-school season, we'll see if these non-peak seasons are still questionable. But the important thing to take away here is that if the sole reason you're planning a Disney World vacation during a certain time of year is just to avoid massive crowds, you might find yourself extremely disappointed to see that they're still here. And even if crowd levels are thinner around these times, that's not always necessarily a great thing for your itinerary, because Disney has the tendency to have shorter park hours during their slower seasons, meaning less time in the parks for you. And many rides and attractions also close around these slower seasons for routine maintenance and refurbs. So your hotel pool could be closed, water rides could be closed, water parks can be closed, or even rides that have nothing to do with water could be, again, closed. That's why it's important to keep up with my weekly newsletters, where I basically shout at you when some sort of closure happens, like, hey, here's this thing that's going to be closed. Don't let it make you sad. You can also check on when Disney World's going to schedule these temporary closures for refurbs. It's right on their website. If your vacation time falls during the exact same time many people's vacations are starting up, that's okay. You can still manage the crowds in your travel budget to pull off a successful trip. You're just going to have to stay on top of all that pre-planning to get your ducks in a row. Make sure you book your Disney World hotel way in advance, at least a couple months out. Grab your advanced dining reservation 60 days before your vacation kicks off, and familiarize yourself with lightning lanes, since they could be very beneficial for you and your group to navigate around those intense queue lines. Also, don't forget that Disney doesn't just release discounts during their off seasons. You can check out our DFB Disney Discounts and Deals page. We'll not only update you on Walt Disney World's latest offerings, but also Disneyland's. Better yet, we also tell you how to save big no matter what time of year you decide to visit the parks. And by the way, we give out tons of Disney discount updates to those who've subscribed to the DFB newsletter. So if you want to be part of that newsletter squad, which will cost you a whopping total of $0.00, I'll link where you can do that in the description below. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about as being controversial is riding Expedition Everest 4 times after drinking a margarita from the Dawa bar at Animal Kingdom. No. The answer is no, you shouldn't. There's no green light. Oh wait, Bria has a green light. She says, green light, you actually somehow made it through 4 rounds of riding Expedition Everest after 4 margaritas, which automatically gives you bragging rights. She's very concerned with bragging rights. What's up with that, Bria? The moral of the story here, just because you can do something at Disney World doesn't mean you have to. But then again, it could end up being a decision that could enhance your Disney experience tenfold. It all depends on what you want to get out of your time on property and what you think will be ultimately worth your time and your money. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.